Welcome back, Chelsea fans, to another episode of the London is Blue podcast on YouTube. And that is right. We are back talking about Chelsea's 5-0 win over West Ham in the Women's Super League. An absolutely dynamic performance from Sonia Bonpastor's team. Absolutely fantastic way to start the league year after just coming back in the FA Cup last weekend. So a huge performance and an important 3 points as we get into this one. A lot of the conversation of the last week has been about the thing that I brought up on my last YouTube video about the women's team, which is Naomi Girma. I'm just going to start this one off because it's what people are talking about. Naomi Girma is rumored to be either heading to Chelsea or most likely Lyon as a up to $1 million buy for these teams, which would be a women's transfer record by some margin. It would be an incredible signing. There have been murmurings for a little bit about Chelsea, and largely because Naomi Girma's best friend is one Kat Macario, who did have a starring role in this game today that we will talk about. So just fingers crossed. I'm recording this on Sunday, January 19th, late in the evening. If you are waking up to this news that potentially Naomi Girma is signed for Chelsea, I'm pre-celebrating with you. Yes. Hopefully that does get done. I think that would be an amazing signing for Chelsea and really set us up for some success in the second half of the year. But let's dive into this one because Chelsea played at West Ham. And you'll note that if you're coming on our trip to London at the end of March and early April, that we will see the return fixture at Kings Meadow, which is going to be really great. The Sam Kerr, Christy Mewis Derby, as it's more fondly known. And Chelsea ran out 5-0 winners in this one. This is a really great performance with an excellent goal from Kat Macario on the volley in the 11th minute. A scintillating side foot finish from Erin Cuthbert, which we will talk about at length in this podcast. Aggie Beaver-Jones with potentially the goal of the day, although all four of the goals that we scored were very good. This was an absolute banger from Aggie. A wonderful finish from Sandy Baltimore, powerful, kind of roofed it. And then an own goal from West Ham kind of finished it out. But Chelsea were good for many goals in this game and could have finished with more. The lineup in this one, Hannah Hampton returns to goal. Niamh Charles, Millie Bright, Natalie Bjorn, and Lucy Braun's backline. You're kind of becoming used to this. Erin Cuthbert, Shuka Nuskin in midfield is more traditional pivot with Aggie Beaver-Jones on the right, Kat Macario in the middle, Sandy Baltimore on the left instead of Guro Wrighton, and Myra Ramirez up top, something that we were very used to. So talk a little bit about the combinations and the different play today, but different lineup and different look. We did get subs in this one of Guro Wrighton in for Sandy Baltimore in the 61st minute, Oriane Jean-Francois in for Shuka Nuskin in the 61st minute, Mike Amano in for Kat Macario in the 61st minute. Seems like that was pretty planned, 60-30 for these players in rotation. Ashley Lawrence in the 71st minute, and Johanna Ritton-Kaneryd coming back from injury in the 71st minute as well. And so this ended up being a massive performance for Chelsea. 68% possession on the road, 3 big chances, scored 5 goals, so outperformed the big chances. 23 total shots. I mean, it was just a dominant performance. You play 588 passes. You have 5 free kicks in this one. It was a dominant performance. West Ham had 6 total shots in this game at home and were in it more in the second half than they were in the first half. But Chelsea really did play some scintillating football. We're high pressing like crazy, more like the kind of form that we saw at the beginning of the season where the team had a bunch of energy. That really did tail off at the end of the season. And I think the team kind of got a little leggy. This was more of like the prime pressing Chelsea where we were attacking in advanced areas, winning the ball back, and then pursuing different shots on target and routes to goal. So a really truly dominant performance. One random stat in this one, of course, from Harry Edwards, who does all of the tracking for these sorts of things. Niamh Charles, 20th assist for Chelsea. Only 3 players in the current squad have more. Note that she has played her entire Chelsea career for the most part as a right or left back. So doesn't get to play attacker very often or get into those advanced areas, but she does a phenomenal job of providing assists, and she got her 20th, along with some other big milestones in this one. I think Sonia's quotes pretty much sum up the performance here. Whereas the FA Cup game could have been, just getting back from, an international or not an international break, a long winter break, and maybe there was some rust. This was definitely not a rusty performance. She said, we played with intensity from the beginning. We were able to score quickly, which makes a big difference when you play against these types of teams, low block teams. When you are efficient and you don't give any hope to your opposition, that's why you make the game look easier. I need to give credit to my players. They made the right start. I really enjoyed watching my team play and score some great goals. We created a lot of opportunities and different players scored goals. It shows the quality I have in my squad. When you are efficient and you don't give any hope to your opposition, what a line from Sonia. That is absolutely outstanding. And look, this really does feed into the three things I want to cover from this match, okay? Insight number one, Erin Cuthbert. A dominant performance from Erin Cuthbert. Like the Erin Cuthbert that if Chelsea are going to win the Champions League, we need Erin Cuthbert at this level through the end of the season, especially in the Champions League, quarterfinals, semifinals, etc. She achieved her 250th appearance for the club, which is outstanding. I mean, we interviewed her in 2019 and she was only a couple years in at that point, I think a year and a half or two in, and now has 250 appearances for the club, which is amazing. She says it feels surreal to even say the number 250, to be honest. It would be an immensely proud moment for me. She said this before the match. When I came to Chelsea, I didn't think I'd make as many appearances as I have, but I've just grown such an affinity and love for the club. Every time I step out on the pitch, I love every single second and still play every game like it's my first. I'm still trying to impress. And impress she did. This was an absolutely scintillating performance. Her heat map, ridiculous. She's basically everywhere on the pitch. It's just a big yellow and bright red blob across the midfield and forward areas. She gets a goal, of course, a nice slotted finish home. 71 touches. She had 46 of 51 passes. That's 90%, just in case you're keeping track at home. One key pass, 3 of 4 long balls, 1 shot on target, 1 goal, 3 dribble attempts, and 3 completed for 100%. 11 of 13 ground duels won. Only lost possession 8 times, only fouled once, and 2 clearances. This was a big time performance from Erin. I think one of the things that we've talked about on these sorts of mini episodes on YouTube is the role of the midfield, the different sorts of players who are multifaceted, who can do different things, and really how these players will gel together against the best of the best of the best. Looking at you, Barcelona, looking at you, Lyon. These are the sorts of teams in the future where you think back to that Barcelona away leg last year. It was an amazing performance, right? From the midfield and everyone. But Erin Cuthbert was critical to that performance. She's going to need to do this for Chelsea. She's going to need to be the selfless player. She's going to need to be the one who maybe isn't doing the goal scoring and all sorts of things that she did today because we might not have as much possession. But she needs to be that enforcer. And I think if she gets back to that, this team could really thrive with her in that role. But on days like today, where Chelsea have so much possession and she's so advanced and she's winning the ball in dangerous areas, it's an amazing thing to watch. I mean, her skill and talent is so well-rounded. And what a player. Absolutely outstanding player. She's one of my favorites. I have 2 jerseys with her name on the back of it. I have 2 jerseys with Millie Bright's name on the back of it. And, these are my 2 favorite players for Chelsea. They are absolutely outstanding. Speaking of Millie, if you want to talk about more records for insight number 2, this victory today means that Millie Bright now has the record for WSL wins as a player at 128 WSL wins. It's an absolutely extraordinary achievement. This is a player who has obviously been here for a long time. One of Emma Hayes' first signings from Doncaster. I don't know how to describe her other than being a winner. She's just a winner. She shows up in big moments. She helps the team. She's selfless. She brings along new players and integrates them into the team. She has moved from this, incredibly talented individual player to being a part of a collective, right? Being vice captain with Magda and now being captain of the club. And every accolade that comes toward Millie from this, from forever until whenever she's done playing will be incredibly deserved. She is the closest thing that we have to John Terry at this club, and has been, for a long time. An absolutely extraordinary player, extraordinary talent, and the WSL put out this really cool graphic, which essentially it's like they're texting her and they say, "Congratulations, Millie, you're now officially the player with the most outright wins in WSL history. How would you describe feeling about this achievement?" She said, "Damn, I wasn't even counting, but this is pretty cool. I would just love to say I'm happy, but now I'm even more motivated to keep winning." That's what it's all about. Cool achievement. Roll on the next. And this is her. Sonia says, "I'm really pleased for her. Shows the quality, being consistent in a career that makes the difference between good players and really high-level athletes. She is a really high-level athlete. She is the leader of this team and this club. She has the right mentality, bringing everyone with her on the pitch and outside the pitch." Extraordinary player. Well-deserved, Millie. You and Erin are just the best. Insight number 3 is something a little bit more tactical into this game. And I did want to discuss the starting lineup because for much of the season, we've seen Johanna Ritten-Kaneryd on the right, Gura Reiten on the left. And that has obviously netted incredible dividends because this team is still unbeaten. In the league season, only Leicester have taken points off of us this season so far. And, I think the team had felt a little bit more settled, maybe a little bit of a substitution at number 10, maybe a swap of striker, depending on how Myra was feeling, maybe a different configuration of midfield. Maybe it's Erin and Vika, Erin and Shuka Nuskin, maybe it's Shuka and Vika. But, outside of that, it was Sandy at left back to start the season. Now it's Neve. And, the back line is only shuffled because of injury. But Lucy Bronze has been there all year. Hannah's been there all year. It felt kind of settled for a little bit. I think the Champions League games have offered a little bit of a moment to kind of switch some stuff up and get players involved. But in the WSL, there's kind of been a lineup. And today was one of those lineups that kind of caught everyone by surprise, right? Guro on the bench, Johanna Ritten-Kaneryd just coming back from injury. Understandable that she wouldn't be starting. But Aggie on the right, Kat Macario at number 10, Sandy Baltimore on the left wing, and Myra up top. And boy, did this work a trick. In this game, the energy from the wings was palpable. The overlaps between the fullbacks and the wingers was palpable. The fact that Shuka Nuskin ends up a little bit more the destroyer in this game as Erin Cuthbert moves up and causes trouble as like a chaos 8, which allows, I think, more space for Myra and others to get in behind. This was a pretty extraordinary configuration. And I think my insight number 3 is that there are so many different types of puzzle pieces that Sonia Bonpastor has to fit together. Different profiles of player, right? Sandy Baltimore and Gura Reiten are not the same player. They're different players. They have different skill sets. They both have wicked left foot. I will tell you that. They both have wicked left feet, I should say. But they play differently, right? Obviously, we've seen Aggie pop up all over the pitch, whether it's on the wing, whether it's as a striker, whether it's as a second striker or number 10. Like, she is so tactically flexible that she can do a lot. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how Sonia starts to do this, because she says of Sandy today, and being flexible. If you ask Sandy, for sure she will answer being a left winger is her favorite position, but she has the quality to play both positions in the left corridor. She works hard. She has the right mentality. She has a lot of quality as a player. She's technical, able to create a lot and dribble one-on-one. Big impact on the team, but she's also surrounded by good players who make her look good as well. I'm pleased to have Sandy in my squad. I've known her for quite a long time. She's improving every season. coming to the WSL, she's showing she's one of the best in the world. Fascinating developments here. Both Sandy and Aggie get ripper goals today. Absolutely smack the ball into the back of the net. Right? You get a wonderful volley goal from Kat Macario, who's really starting to gain some match fitness here after a long time out. You have Myra, who I think ended up just being kind of a decoy for most of this game, but ends up being a very successful decoy. This team is incredibly dangerous. And it's really important that we are, because when you look at the table to finish this out, Chelsea on top, 31 points. We have won 4 and drawn 1 in our last 5. 36 goals for, 6 against, a 30-goal difference. Arsenal, 24 points. Man United, 24 points. They're second and third in the table, Arsenal by goal difference. Man City drops points to Man United today. They were in second. Now they are in fourth on 22 points. They're looking to potentially sign Caroline from North Carolina Courage. Brighton and Hove Albion, 17 points on 5th place. Tottenham, Liverpool, Villa, Everton, West Ham, Leicester, Crystal Palace. Chelsea now have a 7-point lead. They had a 6-point lead to start the day. This is a team that has a very, very important match coming up against Arsenal at home at Stamford Bridge on Sunday at 6:30 a.m. Central. I'm in the Central Time Zone, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 a.m. Pacific. This is one of those to get up for. If you are not an early riser for either the men's or the women's team, I don't care. Get up for this one. Please, please, please. This is such an important match. Beating Arsenal here essentially gives you the runway if you continue to win like you've been winning, to do this business and get it done relatively early this year, which would be an extraordinary achievement, because the last 4 seasons, the WSL has come down to the last day. If you beat Arsenal and you go up 10 points on January 26th, it's a steep hill to climb for them. And so I'm just begging you, if you are in London and have Sunday noon kickoff or 12:30 kickoff available, please go to Stamford Bridge. Please big up this team. If you are watching from around the world, please tune in and be a part of the conversation. I will do a match review for this one. This is a big occasion. So I'm going to close this one out. Hopefully we wake up this week, Naomi Girma is a part of the team, and we can get very excited. But Chelsea have started this period back on a very, very good trajectory. Let's close it out. Keep the blue flag flying high.